I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Township of Hamilton, Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. Please rise for a flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by publication in the Press of Atlantic City and Star Ledger on January the 6th, 2024. Mr. Cheek?
Here.
Mr. Laws?
Here.
Mr. Patali?
Here.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Here.
Mayor Schenker?
Here. Can we have a moment of silence for private reflection? Thank you. Okay. So we'll start out with a couple proclamations. Historic property recognition to Linda Maslenko and Abby Aponte. I probably just butchered your last names. Close? Close? My last name's Schenker. Mine got butchered my entire life. Also, the Township of Hamilton Historical Society Museum, if you guys want to come on up.
So we're gonna.
Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. The Historical Preservation Commission is going to present these proclamations.
All right. Hamilton, Township of Hamilton Historic Preservation Commission, Mays Landing, New Jersey. Excellence in historic preservation. Whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Hamilton, the citizens of the Township local organizations, and outside entities have endeavored to preserve and protect buildings and sites in the Township of Hamilton which are deemed to have historic significance. And whereas the Historic Preservation Commission strives to support the efforts of the Township Committee to preserve and protect the properties that have values, that have valuable historical significance and add to the charm of our historic Mays Landing. And whereas the Township Committee and the Historic Preservation Commission recognize the hard work and dedication of our residents who have worked so hard to successfully preserve the historic integrity of our homes and properties and keep the history of the township alive and fresh on the minds of everyone. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the members of the Township Committee and the Historic Preservation Commission, Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, on this day, August 19th, 2024, honor 6056 Main Street, Linda Maslenko and Abby Aponte, in recognition of their hard work and commitment to preserving the original historic character and charm of their property. And it's signed by Mayor Schenker and our deputies. That's for you guys. Great job. Great job. All right. The Township of Hamilton Historic Preservation Commission, Mays Landing, New Jersey. Excellence in historic preservation. Whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Hamilton, the citizens of the township's local organizations and outside entities have endeavored to preserve and protect buildings and sites in the Township of Hamilton which are deemed to have historic significance. And whereas the Historic Preservation Commission strives to support the efforts of the Township Committee to preserve and protect the properties that have value, that have valuable historic significance, and add to the charm of a historic Mays Landing. And whereas the Township Committee and the Historic Preservation Commission recognize the hard work and dedication of our residents who have worked so hard to successfully preserve the historic integrity of their homes and properties and keep the history of Hamilton Township alive and fresh in the minds of everyone. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the members of the Township Committee and the Historic Preservation Commission, Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, on this day, August 19th, 2024, honor Township of Hamilton Historic Society Museum, 49 Mill Street, in recognition of your hard work and commitment to preserving the original historic character and charm of its properties. Thank you very much, guys.
Let's move on. Additions and deletions to the late agenda items to be considered for action tonight. We have 7A, AC Salons Limit LLC, also known as Supercuts, 540 Hamilton Commons. And 8A, a resolution establishing the Mount Laurel Subcommittee and appointing members.
So move.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Early public comment on agenda items excluding items listed for public hearings.
We have Michael Murphy for 3B.
Excuse me? Oh, Michael?
That was for 3B.
I love his t-shirt.
You okay? I'm fine.
It's great.
My name is Michael Murphy. I live at 1378 Sitka Avenue. I just don't think it makes sense to vacate 100 feet of a 1,000-foot street for future development. I mean, if they develop the street, what are they going to do? They're going to push the snow to the end and then leave it there. There's not enough room for a cul-de-sac. The whole street can't be closed because you'll landlock other property owners.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Anyone else?
Deborah Kraus for 3B.
Deborah Kraus, 7400 Driftwood Lane. I'm here about the street vacation. I'm not going to landlock anybody. There are 4 paved roads. If you see the map, there are 4 paved roads. All right, this is Memphis. That blue, 100 feet is a vacation. These are all paved roads all the way around. There is nobody going to be landlocked at all. I appreciate the fact that Mr. Murphy wrote in here that he didn't want to hinder any development, which is exactly what I want to do. I want to develop the properties. I need to vacate the road for this property that we have, buy the township property in the yellow and put them both together because you need an acre out in the Mispa Village zone. And the only way to do that, because of the way the properties are so cut up, is to vacate the road, give the frontage back to the properties, and the property would be one building lot. The only other person who was worried about it was the man in the pink. And the pink, he has road frontage on West Point, and he has a way into Memphis Avenue from Melvin Newton. He also can go straight through his property and over to his 2 properties. It has nothing to do with the 100 feet that I'm requesting. So that's pretty much what I wanted to just, explain to you. There are 4 road frontages. Mr. Murphy sits on 3, with Memphis Avenue being one of them, which
Right.
it'll still be there. The man on West Point, he has 3 ways into his property. They have Melvin Newton, West Point, and Memphis Avenue. The only one that didn't would be the Pink, and I think that's Mr. Keller, which has access through West Point, and he also has access through Memphis, and he also has access to these 2 small lots that are on, that he could walk right straight through his property to get to. I know that he was concerned about getting out to Strand Avenue, which is over here, and his actual property is closer to Melvin Newton. So that's what I just wanted to explain when you're looking at the map and the answer that I gave with the color coding. It just shows you, you know, what I'm trying to do, and all it is to take that 100 feet. I think that was about it. It would just allow me to put the 2 properties together and buy the other property from the township, which the township makes a lot of money on these land sales, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you money. So, and that's about it. Just all the streets around it are all paved. This is just 100 foot, and it does not landlock anybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, Brett?
That's it.
Okay. We have a presentation from Hometown Heroes Program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike DeSorbo. I'm with Hometown Heroes. The name of my company is Holiday Outdoor Decor. We manufacture and different types of holiday decorations and also banners that are decorating your streets now. I believe the banners for the Falcon School, they're 30-inch wide by 60-inch long. Then you have the ones on Main Street, look like they're 24 by 48s. And I also brought a sample here of a Hometown Hero banner, which is 18 by 36. If you want to take a look at that, and I'll leave them behind. I also have some hard copy information that I can leave behind with everybody and a business card. With the Hometown Hero program, it's actually, we're the manufacturer. You would own the program to design it any way you would like, to recognize anybody that you want, be it alive or past or even people within the community that have done some wonderful things, such as the historians. You could even do banners for them, depending on what you would want to do. We have a way for the organization to collect the information and then send it to us, and we would produce the end product, be it brackets or the banners or just the banners. Maybe you can use the brackets that are already existing, which will help with cost. A lot of different municipalities and towns will either have the individuals invest in the banner, and then the town will invest in the bracket, or the town will do everything. But again, it's your program. I have information that I can leave behind and email you, and you can decide on how you want to run it, and I'd be more than happy to help and guide you through that situation. A lot of the VFWs are running the program, or the Scouts, where they're earning badges for recognizing, or even high school seniors that are looking for a little extra credit to produce a program and run it and see it from beginning to end. It's that simple. If you have any questions from anybody, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you, or concerns or whatever.
Anyone from committee have any questions?
Just one question. I did like the banners that that I've seen. Do you put them up, or do you just give them to us to do it?
We can install them if you need us to. About 95% of the time, the DPW within the town usually will do that for the town, or there's people that are in the that might have a bucket truck that would want to donate their time. They might even be soldiers themselves, or again, the Scouts. I've even seen the Scouts have platforms where they're doing the installation also. And we have directions on how to do that, but it looks like you guys already have them up and you understand what is going on.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I know Egg Harbor Township did this, I guess, last year. They started out with it. I'm working out in Lancaster County. I've seen them out there over a year now. I've seen them out there and talked to them with our mayor, talked to the mayor about it, and he had noticed it too. So I think this is a really good idea. Maybe something we start small with this year and expand each year. But obviously it's something we need to discuss and figure out if we're going to, have the families or whoever wants to buy the banners and then go from there. It's going to be a little bit of legwork, but I'm sure you'll work with us if we decide to go down this road.
Absolutely. A lot of it is done online where the families can actually sign in, download the picture, put the information in there, and then that's sent to us. So it's a fairly easy process. Be more than happy to help.
How long of a turnaround time?
If you want them for Memorial Day, we're going to need at least about 6 to 7 weeks because everybody wants to get them up before Memorial Day.
Okay.
If we were to do a program right now, you'd probably see them in about 2 weeks, if not less. Just the time of the year is tough. So what the municipality will do or the individual, they'll put a time frame. They'll say word of mouth is one of the best ways. And once somebody sees a banner, and again, I'll leave this one behind. I can get other sizes too. But once the program gets going, it can get very large, where you're going to run out of maybe lamp posts. So you can do a 3-year program. Then the banner can go to the individuals who own it. Then you can put up another set. Or if there aren't enough to fill the poles for this 3rd year or whatever, you can put the older ones back up again. Did I answer your question? I kind of went off
No,
target there.
no. We appreciate your time coming here and
Yeah, I
explaining
think-
this to us.
This is a wonderful thing. I've seen it. As a matter of fact, Du Bois is the town next to my wife's hometown in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So they did it there. They did it in Clearfield, which is kind of where I saw it for the first time. And it was just such a nice, as a matter of fact, they look just like those. It's just such a nice thing to do. I think that we should get the Veterans Advisory Board on board with this and put something together and try and move this as quickly as possible, and decide how we're going to do this. I don't think there's anybody who would be against it, believe me. I think
Okay.
it's a wonderful thing you guys do.
Well,
Thank you very much.
And it was a veteran that started the program for
That's
us
great.
within the company. I want to thank Brett. Thank you for having me down. I wasn't sure what I was going to be coming into, so kept it simple. And by all means, I'll leave my card behind and some more literature. Feel free to contact me, and I'll send you whatever you need or answer any other questions.
Okay.
Excellent. Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Do we need to do anything official to have us look into this?
No, Mayor, thank you. It's only a one-off for discussion, so direction if you want to move forward and put it out to the committee. There's
Okay,
nothing.
is everybody all right with that? Let's move
absolutely.
forward with this. Let's put together something with the Veterans Advisory Board and see how quickly we can get this done.
Mayor, will it just be for veterans or
Yeah.
will it be for any hometown person?
No,
that we deem?
just veterans, somebody who
I
served,
think starting off, we do
Yeah.
just veterans.
to see how many.
Wet.
Yeah. I only asked the question because he said it could be veterans or anyone that we saw that.
Well, I think eventually, but I would like to start with just veterans, so we
Fine.
see how many we have, and then, like you say, you don't want to, I would assume this could be down Route 50, down Main Street. I mean, we have quite a few poles, but you never know. You never know. All right, Brett? Thank you. 3B, street vacation request on Memphis Avenue. So I know that we've had our professionals look into this, and I'd like to hear what they have to say about it, so I don't care. Bob, you want to start? Ken?
I can start, Mayor, if you'd like. I've had the opportunity to take a look at the application that was made for vacating that portion of the paper street. I also had the opportunity to meet with the township administrator, the other professionals, including Mr. Watkins, tax assessor, and we reviewed all the circumstances behind the applications, as well as taking the step of reaching out to the potentially affected residents or homeowners or landowners regarding that paper street. Based on all of those circumstances, at this time, based on the multiple objections it received, I believe one landowner spoke out tonight. We received another written objection, and based on the current layout and ownership of the surrounding properties, it's our unison in recommending to the committee that the street not be vacated at this time under these circumstances. As committee knows, with vacating the street, it's a discretionary function of the committee as a whole. It's not mandatory. It's up for discussion tonight. The standard for vacating a street upon application is what's in the public interest. Based on the fact that you received multiple objections from affected homeowners, that's one of the main factors that went into our basis for making that recommendation to the committee. And like I said, we had the opportunity to discuss this at length, and we're in unison with making that recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. Bob, you have anything to add?
Nothing to add. I concur with what Ken had stated.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So this is just up for discussion.
Yes, Mayor. So it's up for discussion. We would only need formal action if the committee decided to authorize us to move forward with an ordinance for the vacating the street. If you want to take a voice vote to get the opinion of all committee, if you didn't want to move forward with vacation this time, there would be no formal action.
Okay. So I'll make one comment, and that is very basic, that we vacated a street a few years ago, and at the time, we were told by our professionals not to do it, and it was done, and we ended up having problems because of it. So, comments from anybody on the committee?
No, I support our professionals. You know, that's what we pay them for, to come and give us the committee recommendations. So I support what the professionals have to say.
Okay.
I agree with that, and just wanted to throw it out there that that one that did get vacated and we got sued, I voted no on that, just to be clear.
Anyone else? So I think we're in unison that we are not going to move forward with this at this time.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Thank you for your opinions. Appreciate it. We'll move on to 4, public hearing, adoption ordinances. Ordinance 2081, 2024, an ordinance of the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, and State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 203, Article 12, Section 121, establishing the design standards for major subdivisions. You want to give us a brief before I turn it over to the public?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I believe we discussed this 2 meetings prior. This was an ordinance that was drafted based on the recommendation of the Hamilton Township Planning Board. After reviewing that section of the code, there was a fear that the current language prior to this amendment allowed for driveways to open up the major roadways. So this was a amendment that they requested. We drafted it. It did go before the Hamilton Township Planning Board at the August 15th meeting. They indicated that they reviewed it and they agreed with it based on their prior proposals, and they did not suggest any changes for adoption.
Okay. Thank you. With that being said, I would like to open this up to the public. This is a public hearing. Anyone in the public like to speak?
Move to close public.
We have a motion to close public
Second.
portion. We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The chair will accept an adoption, a motion for an adoption.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Are there any questions, comments? Rita, could we do a roll call vote for this, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Thank you. B, ordinance 2082, 2024, an ordinance of the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 203, Article 7, Section 44, to allow agricultural use in a regional growth area district, GA-1. Again, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mayor. If committee recalls, a few months back, Pleasant Valley Farms came before committee and asked for preservation of the farmland. Committee unanimously approved that request. It then went through, it was DEP that reached back out and said that we needed to update our zoning to allow for that agricultural use. There are many other municipalities that do allow it in that zone. This is just updating the zone to allow for that agricultural use so that the Pleasant Valley Farms can take the next step on their preservation journey. This also went in front of the planning board and was in unison with their proposed review as well. They asked for no additions or changes to the proposed ordinance.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing. Anybody from the public like to speak on this matter? Yes.
Yes.
We didn't vote yet. I went ahead of myself. Anybody like have to say anything about it, or if you want to speak, step up to the microphone. It's okay. We rarely don't yell at people. You're in support.
Wait till you're up there. Wait till you're up there so I can hear you.
Name and address.
Your name?
Name and address, please.
My name is Teresa Ferrante, 1924 Drake Avenue.
Hello, Teresa.
I'm concerned because we need farmlands now more than ever. There's 5 billion acres in the state of New Jersey. Out of that 5 billion acres, there's only 750,000 that are farms. That means that there's 9,900 farms in the state of New Jersey. That's it. We're the guardian state. There is, let me see if I get my numbers straight, 4,250,000 acres that could be developed that are not preserved for farmland. We need to keep this. We need it.
Okay.
Our children, everybody depends on it. Otherwise, we're going to get pesky food.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments.
You know exactly what to say.
Anyone else in the public like to speak? Yes, sir.
Jason Howell, 7611 Weymouth Road. I just want to say I appreciate the mayor and the committee's work on this, and I want to ditto Terry's comments. And if anybody has stopped there and gotten apples in the fall, you'd probably vote yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else like to speak?
Motion to close.
A motion to close the public
Second.
portion. We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it.
I make a motion to move ordinance 2082-2024.
Second.
Excellent. We have a motion. We have a second. Any questions, comments? Rita?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who doesn't like apples? Come on. That's right. That's right. We were glad to do it. Thank you. C, ordinance 2083, 2024, an ordinance of the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, amending the ordinance number 1674-2010, an official zoning map to delete and remove recreational overlay district and outdoor storage overlay district within the Hamilton Township Industrial Business Park. It's pretty much self-explanatory, so I'm not going to ask you to do what you do. Anyone from the public like to speak? There is a public hearing.
Motion to close.
We have a
Second.
motion to close and a second. All those in favor of closing public portion?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Did I just say all those opposed? Anyway, ayes have it.
You caught it. No one else did.
Chair will entertain a motion to accept, to adopt.
I'll make the motion to adopt.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Rita, we'll do a roll call on this one too, please.
Mr. Cheek,
Abstain.
Mr. Laws,
Yes.
Mr. Patali,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes.
Mayor Schenker.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
Thank you. We'll move to 5, introduction of ordinances, public hearing to be held September 16th, 2024. A, ordinance 2086, the number on your sheet is wrong.
Yes, it's 84.
2024. An ordinance to the Township of Hamilton amending Chapter 225 Parks and Beaches and Chapter 235 Processions, Parades, and Public Assemblies. Give us a brief, I think we discussed this at the last meeting, but for those who didn't hear it or weren't here.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This ordinance actually serves a dual purpose. The first is I worked with Chief Sambrone on this to update both 225 and 235 because some of the language and the positional titles were dated. Certain positions the township may no longer have. So we updated so that the contact people for those sections were current. So Township Administrator, Youth Services and Protection Coordinator, so that it was very clear when you go through the code. The second purpose and second part of this ordinance was to establish what we discussed at the last committee meeting regarding the hockey courts. The second court that will remain closed in coordination with our discussions with DEP as it's funded parkland, as part of Green Acres, and to establish a reservation system. How that reservation system will work essentially boils down to a 2-hour reserve period with a sufficient notice, a small nominal administrative fee, $15 per reservation to allow for that one to remain closed while the other remains open, based on all the reasons that we discussed last time. So this ordinance would essentially boil it down to formalize that direction the committee gave last committee meeting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anyone on committee have any questions, concerns? Hearing none. We move to introduce.
So moved.
Second. Any, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Let's move on to number 6. Awards, bids, contracts, and change orders. Resolution to award the first-year option for bid 2023-11 snow plowing for Warner Construction Incorporated, Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, not to exceed the amount of $50,000 for the period of 10/1/24 to 4/30/2025.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none. Rita, let's do a roll call for this, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Patali?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
Yes, and carried.
Thank you. B, resolution to award bid 2024-05 fiscal year 2023 Safe Streets to Transit Program Park Road Sidewalk Project to Charles Marandino, LLC, amount not to exceed $267,838.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Just so everyone knows, this is for the sidewalks and the improvements to Park Road.
Correct.
Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none. Rita, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Patali?
Abstain.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mayor Schenker?
Man, you really lost your looks.
Just alike.
4 yes, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
I'm a yes, by the way, in case you missed that.
Enthusiastic, yes.
Ah, Lord, help me. Where were we?
6C.
6C, resolution authorizing purchase of Fouts 3,000-gallon tanker on Freightliner from FFI Apparatus through Houston Galveston Area Council Cooperative. Purchasing program in the amount of $491,202. This is a 4-man tanker truck which will be going to the Weymouth Fire Department.
Motion.
Second.
Motion, we have a second. We have any questions, concerns, comments? Rita, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Shanker?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Thank you. D, resolution authorizing a one-year option for bid 2021-04, excuse me, cooperative fleet maintenance and management services to Transdev, also known as First Vehicle, in the amount of $631,458.55 and non-targeted hourly rate at $50.94 and non-targeted overtime rate of $58.37 per hour. This is the company that does all the maintenance on all our township vehicles, including ambulances, fire department, and a police department.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Rita, could we get a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Shanker?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
We'll move on to number 7, consent agenda.
I'll move 7A to G.
Pull H.
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion for 7A to G.
Second.
We have a second. Are there any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. H, resolution authorizing the release of performance guarantee for Artist Walk Major Subdivision Phase 1 in the amount of $430,850.61, contingent upon posting and acceptance of a resolution of governing body for a 2-year maintenance guarantee in the amount of $64,627.59, as recommended by the Township Engineer Robert Watkins in his correspondence dated 8/14/24.
So is this the final, this is it for Artist Walk?
Sorry, this is just to release Phase 1
Okay.
performance guarantee to get a maintenance bond. The other phases still have maintenance bonds on the record as holding by the township.
And I know I asked Brett today to make sure they have an HOA, because I know a couple of months ago or a year ago, there were issues out there. Some of the people that lived out there didn't know, well, claimed they didn't know that they had to have an HOA, when this was all said
So
and done.
they do have an HOA. The owner of the property, I believe it was Paparone Homes, controls that HOA until they turn it over. And they should be turning it over when the performance guarantee is released.
Okay.
We did get confirmation from Paparone and the attorney for the HOA that they are okay with everything. We're not going to release the maintenance bonds until we do a final walkthrough, probably in another month. The other maintenance bonds are up for
Okay.
phases 2 through 5, I believe. So
Very good.
we'll confirm everything.
Okay.
I have a question. The residents there came to the planning board, and that this would be under the performance guarantee for the bus stops, the slabs for the bus stop. I don't know what phase it was. Has that been rectified at all?
I don't believe so, unless the Board of Ed did not want to have a set bus stops for those spots, because sometimes they change their bus stop pickup locations.
Okay.
That probably just was never installed at that point, because back then those subdivisions were reviewed by the school board and they picked spots, but since then they always start to change those locations.
Yeah.
And I know recently the board president came in and said that they've been relocating those spots presently. So I don't think putting them out there at this point would be a benefit.
If anything, it would fall under the maintenance bond if they came to a
We
rock
can
solid. Yeah.
include it in that.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Any other questions, comments? We get a motion?
I'll motion to move 7H.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Number 8, personnel. Personnel is a resolution establishing the Mount Laurel Subcommittee and appointing members. This committee will have to do with our, what's it, COA?
Yes.
Yeah, our COA that's ever-changing again this year. Last meeting, we chose an attorney, a firm, to handle this for us, who specializes in this kind of thing. So this, we're going to vote on this, but there's going to be 2 members of Township Committee, which will be the liaisons from the Community Development, Housing Liaison, Community Development Director, the Solicitor, Affordable Housing Council, Chairperson of the Planning Board, and the Township Planner. That's the resolution before you. What's your pleasure?
I just have one question here. It says to be released by the state in October 2024. If we choose it today, is it?
We're just putting a committee together to deal with whatever comes down from the state.
Oh, I see. And this would deal with the rents and the high prices of the rents and all of that?
Okay. There's going to be a lot of updates and regulation changes coming through DCA regarding affordable housing. This subcommittee and the specialized council will be adapting those changes as they're fluid moving forward. So there's going to be a lot of milestones over the next 6 months to come. That's the purpose of this subcommittee, because COA is substantially changing across the state.
It doesn't necessarily mean that rents will go down. It's just going to be applying. They're going to be just going addressing the new rules and regulations, or what does that mean?
It's not for rent control. It's not for a rent control board. It would just be dealing with the affordable housing requirements that were part of COA before that are not going to be on a DCA, and updating the plan in accordance with the updates for DCA, not for rent.
Okay, so when we talk about affordable housing, what do we mean?
The specific requirements from the Mount Laurel doctrine, the old COA requirements, the different planning rounds. I know that Mr. Watkins can speak on that with planning board as well. The master plan, the township's housing plan, all of those need to get updated in certain cycles that are coming. There's going to be another one that's coming down the pike for DCA. COA's from the governor's office this year has been extremely restructured. The regulations are going to change, so the township needs to be ahead of that so that we can be in accordance with those regulations, and that should be changing within the next 6 months to a year. So that's with the affordable housing. The planning portion of it goes along with that, and the requirements.
All right. The only reason why I brought that up is because a lot of times when we say affordable housing, what does that mean? You know, because especially when everything is very expensive, you know, around here. So everybody's saying affordable housing, but affordable housing is $2,000. What do they call affordable housing?
And as committee knows, and as everybody in this room knows, that the definition of affordable housing is constantly changing with the state, and the state's the one that's going to dictate what affordable housing is, and then the township and the committee needs to be in accordance with that. So that's the purpose of the subcommittee, so that we can become informed and we can inform you and give you recommendations moving forward.
Thank you.
Anyone else has any questions, comments? Do we have a motion? I'm sorry.
No.
No? I'll need a motion to move this.
So
resolution.
moved.
We have a motion. Second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. You want a roll call?
Yes, roll call.
Yeah. Let's do a roll call, Rita.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Thank you. Approvals. A, regular meeting minutes of August 19th, 2024.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Ayes have it. We have one abstention. Rita.
4 yes, 1 abstention.
Thank
Motion
you.
carries.
Excuse me. Bill list total $4,259,738.84.
So moved.
We have a motion. You have a second?
I'll second.
Rita, could we do a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes. Number 10, reports. Mr. Administrator.
I just want to make a note that the project that you awarded for Park Road sidewalk project was 100% grant funded. I think that's important to know that the budget wasn't hit on that. Last year we got $341,000 grant funds. You guys awarded a contract tonight for $268,000. So 100% grant funded, and something that we need over there in that area.
Very good.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Solicitor.
Nothing else to report from me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Engineer.
I believe Leapy Fields ribbon cutting was on Thursday. And then I ditto with Administrator about Park Road. Also, due to the grant being so high and the bids came in low, our inspection fees should be able to be covered under the grant as well.
Okay.
So
Good.
and Underhill Park is almost complete. We got to fix a couple handicap ramps out there before we stripe it and put the signs up. Unfortunately, a street sweeper that came through that nipped the corners of those handicap ramps, so they're cracked. So we need to get them replaced before we stripe. And then the bathrooms are almost complete, and we have to speak to the contractor about some additions to the building, perhaps if we need to, with our grant money that we have there as well. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Anybody have any questions? Hearing none. Township Committee members? Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes, I attended the back to school event at William Davies School. It was a very nice event. It was very successful with the with everything that was done there. It was just done in order, and I really, really like it. It's a total success. We made the paper, so we were good. We made the press with the story. And so I was excited about that. I'm very excited about the ribbon cutting on Thursday. I'm looking forward to that. It's been a long time coming, but I'm very happy about that. And lastly, I'm glad that we are putting a subcommittee together to deal with the Affordable Housing Act, because this is a very serious situation, not only in our area but all over the country. But we want to get ahead of it, and so I'm happy the fact that a subcommittee will be put together to handle those, to handle that. That's my report.
Okay, thank you. Committeeman Vitale?
Ditto what the doctor said about Thursday and the ribbon cutting out at Leapy. Looking forward to that. Long time coming. So happy to see that come to completion. And still more work to get done out there, but that's for the future. Boat races this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, noon to 4. Art in the Park, September 21st is Saturday, 9 to 3 at Memorial Park. September 11th, Memorial. That'll be at Memorial Park on September 11th, 7 p.m. And if it rains, it'll be here at Town Hall. Please come out and, support these events if at all possible. And that's really it for me. Reagan, I'll talk to you later. Maddie, miss you, love you, hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Committeeman Cheek?
Well, I'm going to echo everyone, which I do quite often. I was at the book bag giveaway at Davies with the haircut.
Weren't you supposed to start with him this time?
Yeah.
I know. I knew you called me
That was
out.
very nice. I was there before you, Dr. Witherspoon.
I heard you were there.
And then also I followed the Leapy progress very long now, and it's very, very rewarding that the ribbon cutting's coming up. And once again, the 9/11 ceremonies at 7 o'clock. That's all I have.
Thank you. Committeeman Laws?
Yes, the 9/11 ceremonies, I'm looking forward to that. I have my script Thank you, Reverend Ash. Oh, he left? Okay. Thank you, Reverend Ash. I'm prepared. That's always a very, very, very good event. We do a great job with that and remembering the lives of our fallen. Also like to say I'm really, really excited about what's happening at Leapy. Super excited about the concession stands being open and having running water and bathrooms out there. I would like to say this, or at least make the suggestion, if we can get the signs back up that say no dogs, because there's been an exorbitant amount of dog dung around the field. There was a couple kids that, kind of got tackled in it this week, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Yeah, I heard about that one. But, yeah, so if we could just, it seems like everybody brings their dog out there and let them run around free, and I'm not exactly sure it was supposed to become a dog park, but I'm almost sure that wasn't the initial goal. So if there's some way that we could control that, Chief, I don't know if you want to assign a task force for.
Just kidding. I talked to Public Works. They're going to reinstall the signs out there.
Yeah. They didn't see the sign?
They are going to reinstall.
Oh, they're going to reinstall them. Thank you so
If
much.
there's additional signs that you want, we can do that too. Just let me know where you want to put them.
Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
You're off the hook.
No, you're off the hook again. And last but not least, there was another. Well, I did miss the one at the school. As I mentioned, there was two. The second book bag drive was at Oakcrest Estates. Really, really nice event. They actually, the AWISH Foundation actually gave away 200 book bags, some laptops, a myriad of, personal items that our children need. You never know what people are in need of and the struggle that people have on a daily basis until you actually open up and start trying to give back to them. It was really, really exciting. The organization that supported them was called Give Back. It's a really, really unique group where they provide mentorship and scholarships to students. And their goal was to help students who are, less fortunate, who otherwise may not be able to attend college. There's a grant funded for Rowan University for about $20 million, I think it is, for students to go to Rowan or to the community college out there, Rowan's Community College. But it's now opened up to all colleges. Any college that a kid would like to go to, they find themselves struggled. This group has adopted Mays Landing. We're super excited about that, to open up their nonprofit to our kids and help them navigate the waters of college and success in life. So thanks to the AWISH Foundation and thanks to the Give Something Back. Great job by both of those groups.
You good? Thank you. I'm going to be brief. I just want to make a comment that any meeting that we sit up here and in the same meeting we allocate money to buy fire apparatus to protect our community, and we sit here and talk about the completion of 2 projects that are for not only the kids in this community but the parents and the other people from other towns that come here to our ball fields is a good meeting. And this is one of my favorite things to do, is to make sure that the public gets what they need. The other thing I'd like to mention is, and on the lines of the affordable housing and what we're doing with this committee. Some years ago, there was affordable housing built on New York Avenue, and I don't know how many units were there, but I do know there was over 5,000 applicants to obtain those units. So that was, I'm going to say, 3 or 4 years ago, so I can't imagine it's any better. So this is something that we must address. Was it that long ago? Aileen, you're making me feel old. Stop. It was 4 years ago. So it's a a problem. It's something we have to address, and again, we have to follow the state guidelines. So when you hear about affordable housing coming to the township in the future, please don't look at it negatively, because it is a good thing to help people. Affordable housing is good housing. It's good people who are just trying to get by. So with that being said, I will open this up to public comment. Anybody in
Can
the
I jump on something with
Sure.
with that, with the affordable housing? As Brett knows, every Sunday I drive around town with my dog and send texts to him, and you know, there's this over here, and there's piles of and Greg, I'm sorry, I sent text to Greg.
Yeah.
You know, what's going on over here? And I drove through that development, and I know that there's this stigma that affordable housing means low income. It's going to turn into a dump. Well, if that's been there for 10 years, it sure doesn't look it.
Yeah. Very nice.
It was clean. The grass was cut. There was no, it looked great. It really, really did. And that was probably the first time I ever drove through there. So I'm happy I did. And then this kind of got brought up. So it's weird how things work out. But, you know, it's like I said, it's got a stigma to it, but that one worked out well. And I'm happy how that looks. They're doing, you know, the people that live there, they care, they take care of their place, and it looks nice. So you didn't get any texts about something in there. It's a good thing.
You good?
I'm good. Thank you.
I feel bad for your dog.
A dog loves it, dude. The head out the window, the ears flapping, slobber down the side of my truck. It's awesome.
Okay, with that, I'm going to open it to the public. Anybody in the public like to speak or comment?
Yes, I would like to.
Go ahead.
I presented a letter about rent control, and I would like to ask, when can we get it in the books? To speak about it, get something done, anything done?
We're looking into rent control. We just hired a new community development director. That's one of his first action items, to start looking into what it would take in the different methods of controlling rent in the state, and how it would work here in Hamilton Township. We met about it today. He's got some ideas. Just a matter of I think he said a couple months it would take to finalize something to bring back to committee.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
you just didn't give your name and your address.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
My
sorry.
name is Louisa Moy, and I live at Cologne Gardens, 1932 Cologne Gardens, apartment F12. Okay, and I'm just trying to work for not just myself, but everybody. You know,
Thank you.
Somebody's got to stand up, and Lisa's got to be the one to do it.
Right.
It happens, and I guess, yeah, anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's nice. I'm glad he's going.
Right, I don't start coughing. Jenny Ayers, 4812 Green Ash. Hearing about the affordable housing, I live on the other side of the street of the one you were referring to, Carl, and it is kept better than Harding's Run 2 where I live. And every year, and I don't know if rent control or association fees is part of rent control, but they've been gone up $25, $50 a year ever since I moved in, and the place is not maintained and kept appropriately. I don't know what the rules and regs are statewide or with what our new community development director will be doing, but I just want to throw that into the mix, please.
And that's part of what we're looking into, because each development is different. All the problems you're hearing are different situations, and this is why we're kind of trying to get through the weeds, so to speak. Okay? Anyone else? Jim, come on up.
On the consent agenda, 7H, what do the letters HOA stand for?
Homeowners Association.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Betty Kraus. With the rent control thing, the reason that I think that the rent control would be a good idea is because what's happening right now. You have people, and I have some rentals, my tenants are not paying close to what the government is paying to put people in condos. They sometimes they're $400 to $500 more than my rent. That is the government doing this. They are taking people that are working and they are saying to them, well, I know of one, just heard about her, $1,300 a month, a 2-bedroom over in Harding's Run. Her landlord just told her $1,800 a month because if she doesn't want to pay it, the state will. That's who's putting people out of their condos.
Interesting.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
COA, I've been paying into COA for every house that I built. Every single house, there is thousands of dollars that go toward COA. So I've been supporting COA for years. The house that I wanted to build on this property with the street vacation, same thing. I have a question, and I don't know if I'm allowed to ask the solicitor the question.
What's the question?
Okay. Do you know how many properties were notified about that street vacation?
Mayor, I don't know off the top of my head the exact amount of properties that were notified, but it's all the affected properties in that area. I don't know the specific number.
Okay, because he kept mentioning multiple, and he said multiple times. Multiple objections. There was one objection from a man that couldn't get to Strand Avenue from his 25 by 100 lot. Mr. Murphy only had an objection because he said it was going to be landlocked. It wasn't going to be landlocked. They were 2 objections that were totally ridiculous. I had no problem with putting a right-of-way, a 15-foot right-of-way between the 2 properties. No problem at all. If the man wants on that property there, he says he can't get to Strand, I would put a 15-foot right-of-way. Not a problem. But to hear that there were multiple people that complained, there were 6 properties that were notified.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 2 that sent back. And Mr. Murphy was one who encouraged development. Okay, he was here tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and he said it would landlock us. He was wrong. You can look at the map. It's not going to landlock anybody. The Laureldale thing. Laureldale, there was only one paved road in Laureldale, and the people down the street that they were vacating had no access except through paper streets, which was all wooded. Is that right? Does anybody know?
That was a couple years ago.
I was at those meetings, but
Mhm.
that was a whole different ballgame. This property has 4 paved roads around it. Laureldale, 1 paved road, and they cut off the access from that 1 paved road down there. Totally different. And the only other question I have is the state, or the law. What does the law say about a street vacation?
Mayor, can I answer that?
Sure.
The law says that the committee, it's a discretionary function of the governing body of whether they want to vacate. It's not mandatory, but ultimately, if a committee is making a decision to vacate property, including a street, it should be ultimately what's in the public's interest. So it's discretionary based on the committee.
So it's, even with a right-of-way, I can't get a street vacation. That's what I'd be asking. I could put a 15-foot right-of-way right through the middle of the 50-foot street. I mean, it's an option, and I have no idea, and I'll have to Oprah what the lawsuit was about and how the lawsuit was finalized,
Mhm.
but I have a feeling it was because they didn't have access on a paved road.
Okay. Anyone else from the public like to speak?
Motion to close public.
Second.
We have a motion to close the public portion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We have a motion for adjournment in order.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.